Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Hello, I'm Chris Waigand, creator and writer of TIGHTS, a comic book series that takes place in a pandemic-ridden shitshow much like our own. But in TIGHTS, there is one unintended consequence of COVID that we thankfully haven't had to deal with. Superheroes. Now, most of these superheroes, aka TIGHTS, don't have any professional crime-fighting skills to speak of, let alone superpowers. No, they're out of work regular Joe and Jane vigilantes who mean well, but who more often than not find themselves fighting a losing battle against law and order. Hence why these TIGHTS are a particular pain in the ass for the protagonist of our story, the young anti-TIGHTS federal judge Oliver Andrews. But when a very dangerous and powerful adversary from Oliver's past suddenly resurfaces hell-bent on vengeance, well, Oliver will have no choice but to enlist the help of the very costume vigilantes he hates most, and to survive, he might just have to become a superhero himself. So if you're a fan of dark, topical humor, pop culture Easter eggs, and painfully relatable characters, we think that you'll really enjoy TIGHTS. And this is just the beginning. If everything goes to plan, our first story arc will be comprised of 8 issues culminating in a Volume 1 trade paperback. It's all planned out, ready to go. So much, much more hopefully to come. We can't stress how much we appreciate your support. Thank you.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com. And I am really stoked for this comic because this is an idea that I have been contemplating for gosh, is it decades now? No, I can't be that old. I'm afraid it is. But before I get into that, I want to welcome to the show the creator of TIGHTS, Mr. Chris Waigand himself. Chris, how are you today, sir?
Hey, how you doing, man? Good to be on. This is awesome.
I'm trying, trying to keep breathing at a normal level. Like I told you before the show, I now have inches to breathe in and move in.
Those take confines, yeah.
I have crates and crates of stuff. This is the prototype package. It will be going out to those who backed the Rabbi from Another Planet's comic book bonanza. So this is prints and books all in one neat little package. Whew, it's like playing Tetris, trying to figure out how to get 2 books of different sizes, plus prints that can get wrinkled.
Oh yeah. Yep, dealing with the logistic, well, I wouldn't call it a nightmare quite yet, but that's the least fun part of the whole process. I've found out, being that this is my first Kickstarter, but man, I've learned a lot.
And I've done logistics for years in various IT roles that I played. So it's not like it's my first rodeo, but everyone is different.
Yeah.
You can't just because you've gotten a dozen, crowdfunded books sent to you and they were all in a Gemini mailer and you're like, hey, this is easy. No, I haven't had one that's been a Gemini mailer yet. It's always something added on. So it's, like I tell all my prospective clients, the first word in customer is custom. And that's the kind of job they get. It's a custom job. TIGHTS. Wow. I have contemplated this whole thing before, where, life is always imitating science fiction. So why don't we have people running around in, tights and costumes and trying to fight crime? And in point of fact, we actually do. There is the RLSH, the real life superhero
That's
movement,
right.
but they're really more like, community activist kind of things. We haven't yet seen, we either haven't yet seen the Tony Stark, Bruce Wayne level of wealth and psychosis in one bundle that allows this to
Yeah.
happen, or it's happening and they're just too good to let us know they exist.
I kind of hope that's the case, man. How cool would that be? Yeah.
It would be very cool. But you throw this whole COVID twist into it, and it's like adds this extra level to it. It's like, that's actually believable now.
That's what's scary. I know. When I started writing it, so to be honest, I think COVID, it gave me the time. And by that, I mean, you might actually hear our daughter. I have a 1.5-year-old. And so I got paternity leave through my day job. And I had this idea, it was a form of what Tights is now. And then COVID hit, and it was just kind of this silver lining, perfect timing where that element really added something to the story and actually made the world scarily more believable, because everyone is stuck inside watching a little bit, maybe too much of the 80s action reruns or Disney Plus, and someone might get it in their head, hey, I could do this. I have nothing else to do. And so I guess what you see is the consequences of what that could possibly look like.
Yeah, and on top of that, there's so much internet news where people are like, the world really is going to hell in a handbasket. Why isn't anybody stepping up and doing it?
Exactly.
It's going to have to be me.
Yeah. And so that's what you see. That's what it evolved into. Actually, originally the story was called Justice, and we can get into what Tights is about, but it was similar in that the protagonist is a judge, and originally it was as simple as it's a judge that kind of had enough. He would see these criminal elements and individuals getting away with literal murder, and then he kind of snaps and says, I'm gonna have to do something about this. So that's where it started. And now this is very different. What Tights is now is very different, but it is still about the protagonist is a judge. He's a federal judge, Oliver Andrews. But he's in this world much like our own world. So we had COVID-19. Imagine if COVID-21 hit. So not just like a little mutation of it, but another start over again kind of society. And what would that do to our world, right? I think we saw how bad it could get. I don't think we're ready for another round of that. And so this is the world that he is living in. And in this world, unemployment, crime rates are through the roof, record levels. And like I said earlier, right, you got a lot of people staying at home. They're watching a lot of, superhero movies, reading a lot of comics, and, the world starts seeing these people start actually acting out and trying to right society's wrongs. And so they often do a lot of collateral damage. And so Oliver, the protagonist, he's this federal judge, and he hates these people because he sees how much damage they can do. They come to his court, they clog up the criminal justice system, and he's just had enough of it. And he's kind of at the breaking point. And so the whole story is about how not only is he sucked into their world, he's forced into the situation, but you can kind of see where it's going. I don't think I'm going to give away too much, where it's almost an origin story, right? So we see this as an 8-issue story arc. By the end, I think you'll start seeing Oliver becoming a bit of a superhero himself.
Yeah, and by the way, for everybody watching, the reason I know so much about the story is I've read the entire PDF for issue 1, which tells you right away, this thing's done. This is not a, give us money so I can pay an artist, and in a year and a half from now, there might be a comic book. It's done.
Yeah, and man, everything I read and diving into this world, Greg Pak has this great book, Kickstarter Secrets, and everyone I heard on podcasts, read in the book, just going through campaigns myself, it's get your project as finished as possible. And boy, am I glad that was the case, just because you just have so much more content to put out, just building this page, right? Just seeing the characters in full color and, running the social campaign where I can take bits of the art, maybe switch up, what the characters are saying and, have fun with it and just show everybody that this thing's done. So it's not like just a dream. You're going to get the thing and it's ready to go. So yeah, I'm glad you're able to read it and enjoy it. And it least the PDFs will be ready to go. We're just going to add the thank you page for all these amazing backers that have really helped us out. I'm actually kind of taken aback by it, but by how well it's done. So those will be ready to go before everything else ships. But fingers crossed, hopefully everyone gets all the goodies in December, by December.
And that is the goal date here. I've scrolled down to it. It's a
Yep.
December 2021 backing. And it's important to note also that this is as real of a world as you can get here. It's silly and satirical,
Yes.
but so is reality.
Yeah.
There is no Superman. There is no Hulk. These are normal Joes. 98% of them of whom are buffoons.
Yeah. Yes. And yeah, you can see exactly what a
2%.
buffoon can get himself into. The first 9 pages are on the Kickstarter, and it's
Best
a big
part of the whole story.
Yeah.
First 9 pages.
It was nice because it just kind of acted as a nice self-contained cold open. It's a big robbery gone horribly wrong when a TIGHTS intervenes, just how horribly wrong it can go. So yes, it's a relatable world. It's dark humor. I think the closest thing I can think of is Kick-Ass. I think very much that was an inspiration for this, and that
Very much that.
Yeah, there isn't the Superman. There isn't a Batman and it, like you're saying, Wonder Woman out there. There's no humans and superhumans, metahumans coexisting. It's just us, and I think that's the problem. But they're, like you said, I'd say about most of them are they don't really have any crime fighting professional skills to speak of, but they are out there, and you will meet them by the end of issue 1. So there are some pros out there,
that are very, very good at what they do.
Yes,
and it's also reminiscent of that scene early on in The Dark Knight when there's 3 different Batmans.
Exactly.
They aren't the real one, and they're trying to do what Batman does, and not accomplishing it because they're wearing what? They're wearing umpire padding and stuff
hockey
like
pads. That. Actually, there's a TIGHTS in this. I think that in the back of my conscience helped me out. There's a guy wearing hockey pads. I think some goalie pads at one point. And you'll see him training in the park. Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
Well, you do have the first several pages up here, so we're gonna have some fun and go through them. I'll just read them. We'll just do that. So here it's San Francisco, California. It's never been easier to rob a bank, and of course the business next to him boarded up, out of business, because that's happening so often right now.
Oh yeah.
Exhibit A, security. After the second pandemic crash, even can't fail corporate America can't afford to bankroll a proper security detail. And you can see there's your whole, it's just like every other bank. You're 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
Wearing your mask. Needless to say, Paul Blart here doesn't pose much of a threat. He's a little over the top, but.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Again, I think what we're having fun with, and Edison Neo is the artist. He does everything. The guy is out of control, talented. And I loved his style in that you'll see there's some heavy stuff in here, but I think the characters his particular style keeps it light, and then kind of the content kind of can get a little dark, but the end result is more on the lighter side of things. So yeah, we enjoy some making some of the characters a little bit larger than life.
Exhibit B, crowd control. The chances of some random cowboy deciding to be a hero are pretty slim. Well, I mean, honestly, think about the crowd who actually goes into a bank these days. Okay, I've worked for banks. You're absolutely correct on this one.
Good.
We actively try to keep people from having to actually go in. Put as much on the phone app as possible. We even have wealth management clients where all they do is get on the phone and a banker goes to their house.
Oh, really? I didn't know there's door-to-door service.
Yes, there is, but you have to really be loaded.
Yeah, I bet.
For it to be worth the time. And of course, people are frustrated, like, God damn, buffet will be cleaned out by the time. Exhibit C, anonymity. And this is the thing that really gets me, because this is where COVID came in. And I've had LCS guys on our LCS guy biweekly show. It says, first time in all my life working where you actually told people to have a mask on before they could come into the store.
And that was the genesis, really, of like, it just kind of struck me. I think I might have been going by a bank at the time. I'm like, you would see people put a mask on before going inside of a bank. And I was like, that is so weird that we're so used to it. But then I just thought about it. I'm like, that would make an interesting kind of just like, you know, an observation in a bank robbery scene. And the rest of it came together.
When I was going into my bank early on with the whole thing, it was, you put the mask on, you walk in, a person meets you, you stand on an X, you turn to the camera, you pull your mask down, and then you pull it back up, and then you carry on your business. So they get a shot of who you are. But
got it.
But you know, probably not everybody's nearly as vigilant. And most importantly, your mug won't end up on the evening news because by law, you're required to wear a mask to get in the front door. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So people walking in, here's his accomplices. He starts pushing this lady aside. All you have to do is stroll up to the teller, slide her a note, and it's a mature book, folks.
It's a mature warning. Yeah. And then the kind of the voiceover is, as you'll find out, is not this gentleman or anyone in this scene. It's it's Oliver, the ever present. Yeah. And you'll see, so this ends right before you meet the protagonist. But yeah, that's it wasn't the robber.
Yeah, he's saying, fill him up. You know, he's doing the whole robbery thing, and you know, as you said, the narrator's like, nope, I'm not that asshole. Which of course is his name, because she's like, back of the line, asshole. Right, brave old lady. He just, you know, obviously robbed the place, but don't cut in front of me to do it.
That's right, Grandma Agnew. She's a tough old bird.
In 3 minutes and 32 seconds, the police will arrive on the scene. Yo, grab that bitch's nitrous. I don't think Granny's on the laughing gas. I think she's probably
these are idiots, folks.
I know.
These are very stupid people.
That's what he would be basically huffing if he had the chance.
Exactly.
Hey, there's a whole tank full of it.
Yeah.
That's why he wants him to grab it, probably. But before they do something even more demented than these criminal masterminds is about... Wait a second. But before they do, something even more demented than these criminal masterminds is about to make this situation much, much worse. A superhero. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Now, this guy has totally taken the Die Hard to heart. I mean, he's wrapped his feet in bandages, just like the guy in the movie. I mean, that was not practical. That was just ouch.
That's horribly stupid. But he's devoted completely to the character, which I gotta give him props. At least he tried, right? Even his mask has a little Bruce Willis cigarette coming out of the mouth of it.
Yeah.
Which there is a real one, I swear. After I came up with this, I found one online, and I think I actually might want to make it as a fun, like, last just kind of like reward. But it's out there. It's his smirk with his cigarette and everything. And I just thought, oh my God, I cannot believe this is an actual reality. But
people could cosplay your cosplayer. And the narrator then says, it says, I'm definitely not that asshole. And they're shooting at him. He says, you're looking at the result of what record-breaking unemployment, crippling crime rates, and 500 million Disney Plus subscriptions can do to society. Yes, it is the apocalypse. Thanks, COVID-21. And the police do finally arrive. Like, oh, gee, Christ, is he not another? We've got tights. Now, at first, I thought that was like his nickname, but I figured out that that's the general community that gets referred to by that. This is the police. We have you surrounded, all of you. He pulls down his Bruce Willis mask of smoking a cigarette to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
And the criminals are like, they're trying to take over. They're like, cease fire and place your weapons on the ground. I'll kill her, man. I swear to God. You and Granny. Oh, God, Granny. She's just tempting fate. She wants to die.
I know. She's too brave. She's too brave for her own good. Just going to get her in trouble.
And here's tell your men to stand down, Chief. I've got this. Oh, that's got to scare the police to death. He walked out, and he's literally doing the scene. It's like, these guys have never seen Die Hard before. No, I can pull this trick off every time. Yeah, all right, pal, you win. And the cop gets it. Die Hard. He's supposed to be Die Hard. No. I knew it. Grabs the gun. Bang. Are we going to see the page? Oh, yeah, we're going to see the page. Okay. I didn't know if it was going to cut off there or not. Pulls it. Bang. Granny gets it right between the eyes.
That's brutal.
I laughed out loud so hard at that.
I'm glad. It was so twisted in my head. I'm like, oh God, have I taken things too far?
I was like, shoot the
okay.
hostage.
That's good. That's good. Shoot the hostage.
It's speed all over again. You shoot the
Yeah,
hostage,
there you
just
go.
not in the head. And and now of course the guy can't believe he did it. The criminal starts to return fire, but he catches a whole hail of bullets, and it's welcome to the new normal. And of course, this guy's going to be arrested. He's going to go. He's not the story. He's the introduction to the story, folks. So don't get attached to him. He's going to jail.
Maybe someday he'll come back. I actually have an idea to have the heavier set John McClane return, but we'll see. But yes, that's where the kind of cliffhanger is. The next page we meet. I made a note here just so people who are reading along at this point know that Oliver Andrews, yes, he is. That is not the main character. We will meet Oliver in this next page where this man is at trial for murder, right? So those are the repercussions when you put on a costume and try to do the right thing.
Yeah, and of course this is him here hanging on to the
yes, that's Oliver. Yes,
being chased by all these other tights. Now, have you ever? You're a young guy. I'm in my mid-50s, so I've read a lot more comics than you have. But did you ever read Vigilante from DC?
I haven't, and when I have talked to people about this idea, they can't believe that I haven't. And they're like, you have to read it. And I've been so like between the day job and just keeping this thing going and try to make it as interesting as possible. I've had no other life. So when I do, that is on my that is absolutely on my. I got actually a pretty big laundry list now of people saying, "Oh, you should read this, you should read that." But that's on it.
Yeah, Vigilante should definitely be. Now, of course, Vigilante is not this. This is a lot more humor and a lot more satire.
That's what I've heard. Yep.
So it's like, on a scale of funny to serious, there'd be like, Vigilante, Powers, Tights.
Got it. Yep.
In that sort of a hierarchy. But yeah, Vigilante was one of my favorites too, but until they really got dark with it and messed it up. But spun out a new Teen Titans, which I was just a huge fan of at the time. And he was just, district attorney. People get in the way on technicalities all the time. So that was his thing. He went after the technicality folks.
Well, I'm glad I didn't go there originally with the story.
Yeah, well,
that was right on. That's pretty funny.
That's exactly what I was thinking when you were talking about your original origin. Like,
that's wild. And he was a district attorney. So Oliver, the reason why he's younger and he's a federal judge is he was a hotshot DA, and he was just kind of this cocky guy who went after the organized crime. And you see some of that past come back to haunt him in this first issue. But that's what got him the job, right? And a federal judgeship is a lifetime appointment.
Oh yeah.
Like the Supreme Court judge. And it was just interesting kind of diving into that. I'm like, could he actually be this young? I don't want to make him too old, because at some point he's going to have to start getting into the mix a little bit. And it's pretty wild. Some of these federal judges are pretty young. Because again, if you're a president, you want, your guy or gal to be in office as long as they can. So
yeah, you want your legacy to last. And, as overcrowded as the courts might be getting, they could be expanding, judgeships. And in Vigilante, by the way, he does also become a judge at some point and gives up the Vigilante role, but somebody else takes it up. And it's like, who's the new Vigilante? And it's like, I've got to stop this madness that I started, blah, blah, blah.
Nice.
Super.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to dig into that. That's awesome.
So how did you come across your artist? Because, I know people like they go to websites or they know the guy.
I was on Reddit I think, is where I first saw his work.
So you're the guy.
Yeah. So I started getting serious, and I will never have the talent to do anything close to this. And so I was never going to be the artist of this thing. So I needed to find somebody and like kind of like a perfect partner, and just again like their style. And that was what was kind of hard. Everything I was running into was awesome with these various artists, but it was just like too serious, or it was too kind of goofy. And then I saw his work, and Edison has, I would suggest everyone check out. It's called Snake Claws. Just by the title, I mean, you know, it's funny, right? And it's like this love letter that he did to martial arts films. And he has a whole volume 1 trade paperback. I mean, it's a full-on story with multiple issues that you can read, some of them for free. So look up Edison Neo online, and Snake Claws, you'll find it. Anyways, so I saw that like a post, and then I went to his website, and then I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like, he could do action really, really well. But again, like the style was fun. But even though people are getting, you know, completely destroyed in very violent ways, it was just, you had a smile on your face the whole time. So I'm like, huh. So I reached out to him. I found his email on his website, and I'm like, hey man, you might get this a lot, and this may sound crazy. I know you're in Singapore. I'm, you know, across the world in San Francisco, but I have this idea. This is what it is. Would you be interested in maybe doing this thing with me? And he's like, yeah, seems fun. And I'm like, oh my God, I lucked out, because this guy's about to blow up. So this started at that part of the process, maybe over a year ago. And we just kept chugging along. I don't think everything was 100% written at that time. So we would do it in batches. And let's see, I'll look at my watch now. I think it is 8 a.m. or 8:30 in the morning there. And so, you know, we could meet at my nighttime, his very early morning. And by meet, I mean just email and talk over messaging. Yeah. And that's how we did it. And I just, it's so cool. It's amazing what you can accomplish now, which would just be impossible 15 years ago. You know, like,
absolutely.
Could not do this, and could not be able to print this thing and ship it. It's just, you know, this whole indie comics community, I think, even from when I started, I mean, really like a year and a half ago, I'm seeing more and more of it. And I think it's just it's such an awesome community too. Everyone wants to help each other. You know, just Edison wanting to come on board, and he's like, hey, I got this guy who can do the lettering, who's awesome. His name is Reed Hinckley Barnes. I'm like, yeah, dude, if you dig him. I'm like, where's he at? He's like, San Francisco. Reed lives like 10 blocks away from me. So just by chance, that
you went all the way around the world to come back home.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's just, the whole thing has been unbelievable. And then I have a buddy, Will Wells, who's this insanely talented digital artist. He essentially, any Ubisoft video game cover that you've ever seen that you thought, well, that's really neat, he's pretty much done it. And he did some original art back when this thing was called Justice. So it was a little different. But it's perfect for issue 2. And so in the back of issue 1, you're going to see the cover that he made. And I won't spoil why it's perfect, but I don't know. It all just comes together so nicely. And he lives in Singapore now, and he moved to Singapore during the whole process. So all these artists are either in San Francisco or Singapore, and it's all by like this crazy, just happenstance. So yeah, it's been fun. And Santi Guillen, so he did what we're looking at now, the belly cover. Oh man, this thing came out beyond my wildest dreams. Santi, he's in Argentina. And I found his work. I saw, God, it was Pop Scars is the comic that he did the cover for, and he did the art for. That was successfully launched on Kickstarter. I would check that out too. Just looks badass. And I was like, man, this art style is wild. And what you're seeing now is completely different. He just pulled this out. He's like, I saw this in my head this way. I hope you don't mind. And it has kind of like that old Conan like art style a little bit to it, in this painted, very painterly type style. I'm like, not what I was thinking, but holy shit, this works so well. Like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it, man. So, this is the variant cover for issue 1.
This is me in just about any superhero T-shirt I own. I've said for years that, you know, there's nothing like putting on a superhero T-shirt to remind yourself that you look nothing like one. Uh,
Yeah, but yeah, I thought it said a lot without saying actually anything. And then tights, I think that's another thing that's evolved. I think that was probably the freaking smartest decision that I came up with is, originally it was called Justice, and there's been other things called Justice. It wasn't ownable. It was too serious, inherently serious. And tights is just fun and it's ownable. I mean, I guess it's just, I looked into it. I got the websites and all of that. So I'm like, oh, cool. I guess I can. I was really surprised, right? There's no other comics that at least I could find that were just called tights, and it's just so much better. It's just so much more fun, and just appeals to the world a hell of a lot more than Justice, which is just too serious.
yeah. Now, I'm going to assume that, you being the writer, it was all your idea. You weren't really partnered with the artist as far as the creative process goes. So, like many other crowdfunder guys, you had to come up with all the money up front.
Yeah. Yes.
Pay for the artist.
Yeah, man. This
That's how that works, people.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is. Yeah, you're all in when you decide to make a full-on issue of anything. And yeah, it's expensive. And even when you find partners who are in it with you and they can see your vision for what it is, and they know it's probably going to have some legs, and so they'll do it at a discount, right? Even then, I mean, it's time, right? And these are professionals. I mean, this is seriously great. It's artwork. Every page is really great artwork, and it just costs money. And so you're right. I mean, this was really it's a passion project, labor of love. I was going to print this damn thing no matter what. Even if it was just me to have it. And it's been a dream of mine my whole life. And it's like, you know what? I was ready for it. The way I looked at it was this. I've learned a hell of a lot. I've had so much fun. It's been one of the most creatively fulfilling things I've ever done in my life. And if it doesn't go anywhere, I just took an expensive vacation. And instead of having pictures as memories, I'm going to be able to flip through this thing for the rest of my life. So it's like, let's go. Let's try it. I think enough family and friends have heard about it ad nauseum from me that they'll probably help me out. And I just
got 148 backers. I mean, that's really incredible for a first time out.
Yeah. So I've been blown away. I think it's just, again, the community is so great. I've made so many friends along the way, and just everyone is just so helpful. And I mean, I have asked a million questions just coming from nothing, right? Like I just have no background in particularly when it comes to the printing and the logistics and all that. So with their help, and they've stuck along for the ride, and I've tried to hit the social media, man, it's hard. Like every day, like trying to, at nighttime, I'm making a post for the next day, and then I'm trying to release it at like the right window for West Coast time, and all the while doing my day job. So I think that's helped though. It's just, people ask me, it's like, hey man, it looks like this is doing really well. I'm like, just commit. You got to know what you're getting into. Templatize kind of the way that you post. Hold back some good content. Don't put it all out there too much at once. Use bits and pieces. Again, going back to try and have as much of this done as you possibly can, because all of the posts are me taking little snippets of the art and kind of maybe refreshing it with new copy from, the characters that apply to the post, or even if it's just a straight up lift of Edison just finished this, check out these brand new colors. Like, it was just been so helpful. I honestly do not think I would have had the same shot if I didn't have this content generator, which is just the book, to keep putting stuff out there.
Sure. Now, without, making everybody privy to your financial pages and all that, your goal was 2,400. You're at 7,500. With the art, with the shipping, with the printing, is that still enough yet? I mean, if we're being honest and saying, hey, the book's paid for, and I'm at a zero. I'm at a zero balance right now. I think I'm going to be able to put some money toward issue 2, which is all I could hope for. How exactly much right now is yet to be seen, but I have been able to get reimbursed for everything that I've put into at least issue 1, which feels really good. And it looks like I'm going to have some to put toward, again, I want to keep going, right? The worst thing that I think could happen is just it taking another year and a half or something to get out issue 2, right? Like, just as if the fans out there who enjoy issue 1,
like, yeah, they're going to want to see something. And so being able to kind of start on it has been the goal here. And so that's why I want to crush it, right? I keep telling my family and friends, I'm like, hey, if you like this and you're digging some of the extras that we have, know that just meeting that goal, that was a very, it was a small goal, just because I wanted to, again, I was just going to make this thing no matter what. So I didn't want to make it too high or too low. Yeah, it's more pledges are very much welcome to continue
Absolutely.
this.
Still got 3 days to go on this. Are you going to go the route where it's like Kickstarter's done, roll it over to Indiegogo, get my time on that platform, or are you just going to go Kickstarter and done?
I really haven't thought about going to Indiegogo. I think I'm going to. It'll probably be it for the crowdfunding. We'll see. I've heard other people having a lot of success with that. It's just, man, like I don't know if I have. I don't know if I have it in me for another 30 days of going as hardcore at a continual. At this
Indiegogo
pace.
is 30, and then you extend for 30, and then you go in demand ad infinitum.
Oh my goodness.
So,
I don't know. We'll see though. We'll see. I mean, I'll ask more. Actually, that's really interesting. Shoot, maybe we can go offline and talk more about, how you see that being a benefit. But I'm happy with it where this is. I think there's a lot of new people to the story that hopefully will dig it, and then that'll kind of help continually push it in the right direction or roll the snowball down the hill.
Well, we have three more days to go to get this thing to 5 figures, young lady.
Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Because this is just starting off with the basic cover. Yes, I skipped the digital. Folks in the chat, I know that there are, the digital buyers out there. It's there, $5. Throw it at it now. I doubt you would even have to. Well, yeah, you still have to wait till December because you're going to make the thank you page. But that's going to be like 10 minutes after.
It might be earlier. I'm thinking the digital edition. We're going to jump on the thank you page as soon as we possibly can. Actually, Reed, who's doing the lettering, he's also doing the design. And so we're trying to get this thing friggin' ready to print just so I can check the proof, because we're going to get a printed proof, and I don't want to push this thing too far. So hopefully we can get that thank you page done relatively soon. And then I think I might send out the digital copies earlier than everything else. But yeah, the goal for all the goodies and the print copies and all of that, December, because we want to sign it. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to order book plates, which are essentially stickers, and in Singapore, have them sent to Edison's house, have him sign all of them, and then have him mail them to me. And then hopefully, like right around the time where the books, maybe they'll probably come earlier, but have them ready to go to put into the books. Then I'll sign it. I'll have Reed sign it. So then the signed copies are from all of us. So that was something we wanted to do too. So printing takes time. That takes time. Fulfillment takes time with, the pins that we're making and the koozies and the t-shirts and all that. So
we got to get down into all that. So
yeah.
I'm gonna scroll past this section here. I'm gonna ignore this right section because I hate this.
Yeah, that doesn't do much justice to it. No.
Kickstarter has never changed that, and it's so I'm gonna thankfully you unlike some people that I've seen Kickstarter from, you actually put them over on the left side where we can look at them in big form and see everything.
I know. It drove me crazy when people didn't do that, or they wouldn't put the dollar amount. It's like, man, I just want to see it. I just want to see everything there, right? And they relied upon the little scroll on the right, and then you kind of lose sight of like what you're actually pledging for. And yeah, you're right. It's tedious as it is. So I just wanted to make it easy.
It absolutely is. And by the way, Mike Walters is in the show in the chat. Yes, the mic stand. His show will be starting at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Nice.
So once you're done here, guys, pop on over, check out the mic stand as he digs through the niche news of the week.
Awesome.
So the print edition is $10. This is the cover A, which is him clinging to the trolley for dear life. Shipping probably not included at that price.
Not included, and damn it, the post office raised their prices because they're trying to make up for COVID and how it hit them, and then you add in the holiday, and that started October. So I was trying to originally get this thing out before the holiday mess, and I mean, it started October 3rd, so I'm like, damn. I mean, I have no choice but to get this
The
thing
October
live.
one, the October one at least releases at the end of December. So if you ship January 1st, you get back to the August rates, because that's just a temporary hike for Halloween.
I think we'll stick to it. I think we ended up at, geez, did I have to even make it $7? Because we're mailing it. I'll be mailing it in. They're not Gemini, but they're just like it. And so, and we're doing Comics Wellspring, so it's their product. It's super solid, and it can fit the 11 or 8.5 by 11 prints. So that was a big reason why too. So where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so so everything, you know how it goes, right? Like I wanted to ship the T-shirt, koozie, pin, and one thing, and then everything in this mailer. And so it's going to go in the same type of mailer. So yeah, it's the shipping for all the print stuff is, I think, $7. So even the one that's we'll see the Kickstarter exclusive with all the things, right? Like it's 2 prints, bookmark, postcard. There's 2 both versions of the comics, some other stuff in there. So that's going to be the same cost as shipping as even just the single issue, just because it's the same. I padded it so that the weight would be kind of the same for everything. So
yeah, you've got to estimate upward, because the post office will change. Edison, you're in the chat. If you want to grab the link and come on in for the last bit of the show here, you're more than welcome.
Oh, dude, he made it. Sweet.
Yeah, he's up. Yeah, I mean, you can't. You try to predict shipping. I work with clients to do shipping. I had an international guy. We sat down before his campaign. We got everything weighed and measured, and he's able to ship. He was able to ship everything from there to here for $8 per book, and that was rounding up. Well, then August came around and the rates went up, and not only that, he lives in Australia.
Oh man.
Australia,
and this could mean the difference. This is such a tightrope. Like, if it's $1 swing, it's gonna really hurt. If it's like 2, or I can't imagine where this is going. Oh man, that could be dangerous.
Chris, you want to send Edison the link and let him come in here if you pop it in there. But fortunately, he's still bulk shipping out of Australia to me, and I may have to take a boat down to Australia and have him throw it over the prison walls or whatever it is that they're doing down there now.
Okay. Let me.
But shipping to Australia for a single unit, I've watched that thing in the last 4 months go from 20 to 40 to 70 to you can't get there from here, back down to 40 again. And the way it got to 40 was I skipped United States Postal Service, period, and went UPS.
Wow.
So,
yeah, it's an art form in itself, and I don't know how you do it at a professional level the way that you do. That it just seems so scary.
A lot of panic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh man, it took so long. It was such a trial and error. Going to the post office multiple times with like mock builds of what I'm gonna send, and then I would add something. I'm like, oh god, I have to go back again. I just finally I'm overcompensating a little bit just to make sure I don't fall into, if they raise the prices or the weight, a certain scale is different than another one and it's different. And I just don't want to deal with that.
If you're going to keep doing this, Chris, recommend heartily that you take some of that money from this first campaign. You get yourself a postal scale.
Yeah, I was thinking about that same thing. I might still even freaking do it.
Get yourself a 4x6 thermal label printer.
Okay.
And then sign up for free to Pirate Ship and print your postage through there.
That's who I'm going to do. And actually, I was thinking about, so maybe I'll just buy the damn printer then. I don't know. I was just going to make a giant file and go to a Kinko's and start printing and then taping. But so you're saying get the
you
printer?
Get a thermal printer. You buy the 4x6 labels. You make sure when you print that you're set to 4x6 on the page size.
Got it.
And then you never have to buy ink because it's thermal.
Nice.
If the print head burns out, you buy another one of those. I have not yet encountered that. And then you peel them off and stick them on. You're not taping and cutting and wasting all that, getting calluses on your fingers. Every shortcut I can take, man, I'm taking it.
Oh, that's great. See, this is perfect. So yeah, I did not know that. And this is something
and also with Pirate Ship, like if you've got everything that's like the same weight, or even if it's not the same weight, but you have to get into advanced figuring it out, which I've just done. you can send the whole spreadsheet up to them of name and address and, box size and weight and all that stuff, and email address. That's the important thing. And they just say, here's your total shipping cost. Pay for it. You pay for it. And they give you the label, the PDF. You can either print it right there or save it. I usually save it. But at the moment you've paid for it, the email address is extracted out of everybody's little row, matches the CSV you're going to get from Kickstarter. And they get an email that says, hey, your copy of Tights is on the way. And here's the tracking number so you can follow it from today until it's at your doorstep. Cannot say enough good things about pirateship.com.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know how they do it. I was almost like too good to be true. And then everyone I talk to uses them. And it's like, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but
I was like,
that's
there's
the
no
way to go.
upcharge. I'm sending everything media and it goes out the exact price of media for the post office. And then I send out something first class or priority. And I'm like, it's cheaper. They made it cheaper to send priority than the post office. So somebody's, I'm not getting pop-up ads. I don't know what it is.
I know. I'm trying to figure it out too. I can't figure it out. I don't know how they're doing it. So I'm sorry if I was looking down. I was getting Edison. There he is. What's up?
Hey.
Hello, Edison. Welcome to the show, man. We've been looking at your artwork here.
Hey.
We can see you. We can hear you.
Hi. Yeah, couldn't hear you guys. Oh.
Yeah. Now, Chris, I'm going to pop you down.
Good morning to you guys. It's morning. Yeah.
Morning.
The sound quality just kind of went down on everybody for a second there. I don't know what happened.
Sorry about that. So sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you just fine, but Chris's volume went down too. So it's something to do with the StreamYard. He's not muted, but
I'll speak louder. I'll yell.
Yeah, you have to yell.
I'm
Harold,
so sorry.
Thanks for popping in the chat here, man. So
hi.
So Edison, who are your what's your comic book background? What have you drawn before now, and what were you reading as a kid that pushed you in this direction?
Yeah, I think Chris mentioned I was working on this martial arts comic called Snake Claws. Yeah, so I have one volume of that, and I have 2 issues of my solo anthology called No Brainer. Yeah, and my influences, my biggest influence art-wise is Stuart Immonen. Next Wave is a huge influence of mine. I think you can tell. Try to do like a lot of goofy stuff, like wacky stuff. Yeah, and I think just like all the fun stuff. Stuart Immonen, Chris Samney, Daniel Warren Johnson. Yeah, they're my biggest influences.
Okay, not who I normally hear people put out as influences. Everybody says, "Oh yeah, Jack Kirby was a huge influence." It's like, yeah, okay, that's like thanking Jesus before you take the Oscar. Always, first, it's like you really don't mean that. Get to the people who really helped you.
I guess I'm younger. That's why.
Yeah, but no, that's cool. And this particular style is it's action. And it's funny. I mean, he's careening down a street, angry people chasing him, and at the same time, you're laughing at it. It's got that perfect blend of humor and action in it. I just now noticed the COVID mask here streaming past him over his shoulder.
That was Chris's idea.
What were your initial thoughts when Chris brought this to you? I mean, what appealed to you about Tights that made something that you had to draw?
To be honest, firstly he had a script. No,
that helps.
That helped. Firstly, he had a script that was readable. Because most of the scripts that I saw on Reddit were unreadable, or I had no idea what's going on. They had 5 actions happening on one panel and things like that. So when I received the script from him, it was a breath of fresh air. Firstly, I knew what was going on in the page, so he was okay to pay, and of course, I definitely treat it more seriously. So yeah, so I thought it was very fun, and the first 8 pages were already done. Like, I mean, what we saw there, the first 8 or 9 pages. And I thought, yeah, I actually give it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the real key to writing a comic book script, folks in the chat watching here, is that it's not just that you're telling your story to your reader, you're telling your story to your artist. You have to be an art director as much as you have to be a storyteller. Because like Edison was saying, he's seen scripts where he can't tell what's going on. If he can't tell what's going on, he can't make it clear to you what's going on when you're reading a comic book.
And I've gotten better. Edison was probably too nice to say anything, but I wouldn't have enough detail, right? And you don't think about it because in your head you're seeing it, and you're writing a little bit down. It's like he'll get it, and then it's funny. I got way better at like, okay, I need to be way more clear. Like you said, your audience is your audience, your artist rather. In my head, I was still kind of thinking like, oh, this is like what an editor would want to see. I don't want to write too much detail. So yeah, I got way better at that as we went along.
Yeah, and there's no one true accepted format. I mean, like, if you're writing a novel, you take that William Shun manuscript and that's your Bible. You just load that thing up and you start over-typing it with your story to be safe. But with comics, you've got the Marvel method on one hand, where it's like, hey, Jack, Spidey's going to fight Doc Ock when he robs the bank, and the police are going to show up right at the last minute and chase him away. Go with it. And that's the whole script.
Yeah.
And then you have like an Alan Moore script, which is like, page 1, panel 1, upper left corner, panel 1. There's a butterfly. It's a monarch. It's flying southwest. It's just so overloaded with detail.
Yeah.
So
Greg Pak has a great what is it? It's right here. Damn it. It's making comics like the pros. And there was an example script.
Oh, I thought you had it there. I was gonna.
Oh, sorry. But there's an example script in there that to me was familiar because I've written some screenplays and I'm just fascinated with that art form too. And it was closer to that. And a pro was using it. I'm like, oh, this kind of makes sense. So I just committed to that style. But you're right. It's kind of wild that even now there isn't that go-to. Everyone uses it. I've seen like 5 or 6 different ways to do it. From 5 or 6, complete pros have been doing this their whole lives. So yeah, it's hard to find the right one. But just, I guess, choose the one that works for you, right? Like
it's whatever works.
Yeah.
So we were here before. We said the $10 for the print edition. I think you said $7 US shipping, thereabouts.
So 6 or 7, yeah.
That's close. Depending on what you pay for your supplies, don't forget to take in the cost of tape because you're going to use a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then you can get the signed print edition as well as the digital edition. So you get $13. You're going to get it signed. This is the book plate version that you were talking about here.
Yes. Yep.
So it'll be signed by you and Edison and your letterer as well.
Yeah, Reed. Yeah, I think I'm gonna finally. We need to get a beer together. He's like 10 blocks away, so I think this will be the moment when we finally get to hang out and do something.
Yeah. You should have met before now.
I know, with COVID, it's been so crazy. We joke about it all the time. Like, what the hell? Like, we're not that far, but for some dumb reason.
Well, you're in San Francisco though, so it's a lot more crowded than the Midwest where I'm at, where it's like people still wearing masks somewhere. We got freedom out here, man.
Yeah. No, it's still pretty hardcore over here.
You can also get a signed version of the Kickstarter exclusive signed print. Okay, let me say this. This is not a print. This is the print edition. It is signed, and it is the Kickstarter exclusive, the Big Belly cover. Am I right?
Yeah. Yep. And we'll just be printing. So yeah, Kickstarter exclusive, just because that's it. We'll be printing the amount that we're going to print for this Kickstarter, and then that belly will be gone. Maybe in digital form you'll be able to see it, but as this goes, as print goes, I think this will be
If you
it.
want to
Well,
know
this
what
will
a
be
man
it.
in tights looks like, it's not Spider-Man. It's this right here. Nothing left to the imagination there. If you can't make up your mind between the covers, $22, get them both.
There you go.
And why not? You know, at that price. Whoa! We're sold out of stuff here, man. What? This was the good stuff.
So the good thing is it's the same exact as the Kickstarter exclusive bundle. It was the early one just to get people excited. So definitely not making a dime on that, but I just wanted people to get excited about it. So you get the exact same stuff in this as you do in the grayed out one that says sold out. It's just for the first, I think it was 20. It was at that price point.
Yeah,
but
okay, that was the early bird edition.
Yeah, and then this one's pretty awesome in that it's just a lot of fun stuff. And Edison, we have a bigger version of what you see in the right hand side. It's the cast photo print. He made this awesome, fun print on the right hand side. Sorry, it's tiny right there. There you go. Of the kind of the cast having fun, trying to take a selfie by the bridge in San Francisco. So that was added to it as a stretch goal for free, just throwing that in there. And then we have a print of that was on the left hand side of my friend Will Wells, who had originally made this. This was going to be a cover for the first issue, but it works so well for what we're planning on to do with the second. So you'll get an early print of that, and then you get the comic sign. You get a nice little sticker sheet, Grandma Agnew, and the heavier John McClane, and you get Anton in there, and just some. You got the logo, and then we have a postcard from San Francisco, and has all the characters and stuff from the world, and then a bookmark. So that's what you get. That's in that photo.
And then we get the swag pack here. This is the koozies. Wow, I know some people who've done koozies. It's not been something people do a lot of.
Yeah, I figured why not? There's got to be a way to help you get to that belly, and I think the koozies will help. So this is we offer it as a standalone pledge reward package, or it's an add-on. So you can have whatever pledge reward you want or tier, and then you could also add this on. Because me being a dummy doing a Kickstarter for the first time, I in just my head I was like, yeah, we'll just put it as a pledge thing. Not thinking like, well, you can only have one pledge reward tier, but you can add on whatever you want. So this is also an add-on.
I think people are going to start going more towards the as they start figuring out how to use the add-ons. It's going to be like pledge. Here's the book. Everything else is on the add-on page, guys.
Yeah, I'm thinking that would have been a good way to do it as well.
Well, that way, you don't have to sit there and say, how many different ways can I combine all these items so that there's all the unique possibilities are covered, and everybody can get something they want. This is a bigger version of that print, and this is a gorgeous print. This belies the comedy aspect of the whole thing.
Yeah,
because this really looks more apocalyptic and sobering. He's flipping her off. Okay.
Yeah.
We're back to comedy.
Yeah, he doesn't want to have anything to do with anything that's going on, including the law at this point. He's fed up. But again, this visual ties really well into the last two images that you see in issue 1.
Yeah, this is more of a Kingdom Come kind of superhero.
Yeah.
They look a lot more fit, and there's a lot more leaping into the air action. Grandma, you had to get that one of Grandma Agnew.
Had to. I told Edison so when he was sketching up the characters, he would do just kind of some black and whites, and I was like, man, I need to make a sticker of Grandma Agnew, and so we had him do a full version that would fit nicely into the sticker pack. So it came out really well with the oxygen tank and all.
Yeah. And this guy down here, we didn't get to see. That's Oliver's personal trainer. Andre?
His buddy Anton. He's an actual badass, as you'll see in the comic. Of all these jokers that are out there, this guy's a low-key badass. It's his personal trainer. It's his friend, and we'll see how Anton is also involved in this world of tights eventually.
Yeah, and then this is the bigger view of the San Francisco, California greetings postcard.
Yeah, it's a little fun.
And a bookmark.
Why not?
Why not? the koozies for tights, and this is the pin. So you did
I
a
love this thing, man.
one and
Yeah.
a quarter inch square. Is that enamel or is that acrylic?
It's the typical, they call it soft enamel pin, but that's misleading because it's not soft. But yeah, it's metal. It's gonna look. I think this mock-up does a really great job of it.
I get
I'm really
mine
happy
through
about that.
Sticker Mule, and they're acrylic.
Oh, okay, I see it. So I don't think it's acrylic. I think it's more of the typical the metal that you would see. But yeah, I had someone on Fiverr mock that up, and I was kind of blown away with how well it came out. So yeah, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. That's already ordered, so I think that'll probably be one of the first things I get.
So you do have a retailer. Okay, I thought we were done because we were out of pictures, but there are still some bigger things here. But I want to hit the fact that you've got a retailer reward tier here.
Yeah, so this one, I actually had a couple friends buy it because they thought that they were doing just us a favor. I'm like, oh boy, so we're not making any money on this one. We offer this because hopefully someone out there that has a shop. I know I'm gonna go around San Francisco after I get these printed and get them in as many shops as I can. But if someone reads some of the good reviews that we're having, is listening right now, and you're like, hey, I think people would dig this at my shop. This is for you. This is you get 6 of each cover. They're signed. We throw the sticker packs in there so we can just, you can hand them out with some of the comics in your shop. But yeah,
this is less than $5 a book here if you're a retailer.
yeah. So if you're a retailer, more than welcome. But yeah, it's not the one that's gonna.
I know people who you can put in some sort of validation. Prove you're a retailer.
Sure. Yeah. And then so we had that, and then the two fun ones were, the funnest one, we'll just focus on that, was you get to become a TIGHTS superhero. So at some point, we're gonna 5 people pledged, and we're gonna fit them in. We're gonna fit them in there at some point as their own little TIGHTS characters, which should be a lot of fun.
Are you gonna work with them on what their character design will look like, and who do you want to be, and all that stuff?
Yeah, and since it's not like there's no real superheroes, right? So it's not like we got to think of their powers and all the craziness. It's people dressed, up in, maybe it's a homemade outfit or whatever. But yeah, I've already started talking to a couple of them, and it's gonna be fun to see just how exactly that they're gonna fit into everything. But I have an idea. It's plotted out in my head.
And is this an add-on here where you can actually add on Snake Claws Volume 1?
Yeah. We're getting more and more takers of that, which is awesome because it's freaking phenomenal. I have one myself. Edison did a killer job. It's so good. I mean, it just looks so good. There's extras in the back, and this guy is not only, he does all the art, all of the lettering, he does all the writing, and it's genuinely very funny. And how you do it in a second language just makes me mad because I will never be as intelligent as that. It absolutely blows my mind how you're able to be that funny. Sorry. So it's very good. I would definitely check it out.
All right. I think, you got look at this Usagi print here. You buried the lead.
Yeah. So these sold out pretty quickly. These are killer. Yeah. These are commissions. Examples of commissions. So people have said what character they'd like Edison to draw, and he's going to rock it out.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. So commissions are always a big tier on Kickstarters, and on Indiegogos too. So they're very popular, especially if you have a good up-and-coming artist. I don't know if I can say up-and-coming. You publish now. I don't know if you've, if that's the only thing you published, or if you've been, already quoted by the big boys. Oh, just self-published.
Self-published, yeah.
In other words, you did more work than other artists did to get this done, because that's work. So Edison, what else are you going to be doing in the future here aside from more issues of TIGHTS?
I'm currently working on my solo anthology, No Brainer. So I just finished number 2. We just had a campaign for that, and I'm working on number 3 right now. So I'll probably be start somewhere in January. Yeah.
Which is insane because he works quicker than any human that I've ever seen. So yeah, no brainer. Kickstarted both of them, absolutely killed it. And those are also really great. It's it's an anthology, so there's different like kind of mini stories, but one through story throughout it. And again, they're super freaking funny. The art style is really cool. They're different, completely different stories. So yet another example of badass stuff that you should check out.
Absolutely. And Chris, what about you? Are you sort of focused on Tights until the end, or are you looking at doing some other stories and actually building a publishing empire, or at least an imprint?
Yeah. I mean, I want to be focused on this. I think it's important to see this through, particularly now that people are digging it, and it's a real damn thing, right? It's just not in my head and something that, oh, gee, I'll get to it someday. So no, this will be my focus, and who knows? I mean, I love this medium. Again, like I got screenplay ideas, I have TV ideas, but there's just something about this, just writing comics that is just it's awesome. Like you're making essentially a storyboard if you're, thinking movie, right? It's a combination of art and the written word that you just don't get anywhere else. And it's been so fulfilling that I don't know. I think this might be it. I'd rather be doing this.
Right. Well, the book, as far as the story's done, is done. You just got to get that thank you page up, get some things come in physically, and then go to print. So with that said, how far are you done on book 2 so
book
that you
2.
can get that launch going?
So, obviously no art. No, it's, I started writing it right after, I just wanted to keep going because it was in my head. So I'm about halfway through the script. But then I put everything on pause and I'm like, okay, I need to map this whole thing out before I even finish issue 2. Because I just don't want to I've seen people write themselves into a corner when they don't really know how the hell things are going to end. So what I did is I plotted it out, it looks like it's going to be 8 issues. And I just wanted to make sure all of the major story beats were taken care of and thought through. So now it's time to go back, finish, the details, the script for 2. But still gotta jam that one out.
All right. Well, Chris, Edison, thank both you guys so much for coming on our show tonight and bringing Tights to the audience here. I don't know if it moved. I don't think that it did move. So we didn't have our shake and bake moment that we get to play.
Oh, that's no worries, man.
That's the thing with Kickstarters. Like with Indiegogos, I just refresh and it's like, but Kickstarter's nice to you. It automatically refreshes. So if you don't pay attention, you're like, did it move? Did I change? You would have noticed because you're like focused in on that with like a laser.
Yeah.
But definitely a fun looking book here. Looks like you're going to have a lot of success with it, just judging from what this first issue alone is. Yeah, this is your first campaign, right, Chris? You haven't done a campaign before.
Yep. First issue, the first campain. So
that's phenomenal.
We're just happy. We're happy it's been this successful. So I'm fine with it moving for this hour. I'm sure. I think these next couple days, I've a couple things hopefully that I can surprise everybody with, and maybe to generate some more. But again, happy with where we're at, and been very lucky so far.
All right, folks in the chat, thank you all so much for showing up tonight. I'm not going to ask you to like the video. You don't like me, can't help that. But I will ask you to share it so we can get Chris and Edison's work out in front of all of your friends, so that they can, decide for themselves if they want to jump in on this Tights. Hurry, it's not going to be out here for very much longer. It's got 3 days, which means it's probably got 2 days and a handful of hours. So please do that. And as always, we're just glad you showed up. We don't have a show without you. And we just hope that while you were here, you had a blast.